off audio-wise. I'm just gassing up my car right now because I'm about to go drive quite a distance to meet up with Cyraxx's ex-girlfriend. She had some allegations against him as well. That was pretty shocking and terrible. So I figured we could chat on the car ride up. That'd be cool.
Hey, Kate, how much is gas where you're at right now? Because I'll be in Boston in a couple of months for Boston Comic Con.
$2.75 a gallon, almost $2.76, I guess. Right?
That's not that bad. I'm in Central New York. I'm in Utica. We're about the same price over here by Syracuse.
Yeah,
You're in Syracuse?
Well, I'm in Utica. We're about a half hour out of Syracuse.
Oh, I'm in Buffalo.
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. Kate owes me a car wash.
All right, so what I did to improve my audio is I just shut off my Bluetooth there, so maybe that'll help.
Yeah, it is bad. Way better.
Yeah, way better. I can hear you now, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. So this is the first live road trip I've ever taken, I think. Have I ever done this before?
No, well, just if you want to count the one where you went to the parking lot waiting for Furry.
That was like a
Oh, and you went
like
to
a half a road trip. Like
you went to the protest that one time too?
Oh yeah, the protest. This is gonna be a long drive. She's not close. I do owe Pat. What do I owe you an apology video for?
I don't know, but I remember you told me you were making me one. Probably for puking all over my car.
Oh right, your 1993 Honda Civic with the roll down windows.
Well,
Yeah,
if I can think of a reason to make an apology video for somebody, throwing up in their cars probably in the top 5.
That's a joke. I just want to be clear. We convinced Cyraxx at one point that I was extremely intoxicated on drugs and alcohol in a Costco parking lot.
Pouring yourself.
And that Pat picked me up and and I was like, it's a 1993 Honda Civic and he doesn't even have power windows. It was a good time. I'm gonna shut my camera off here. Okay, so this is like a weird story. I started talking to Cyraxx's ex-girlfriend. She's had a really tough go. At one point, she tried to fake her own death to get away from Cyraxx's intense cyber stalking campaign. Real stalking campaign, really. That didn't work. He figured out that she is in fact still alive. So she's like hiding out. Pretty far from where I am. Really far from where I am, but she's hiding out. And it turns out that she, since escaping Cyraxx's clutches, she's found herself in a pretty tough spot. So I'm gonna actually bring her up some food and items and things like that because she's not exactly on her feet right now, unfortunately. So I was listening. I'm like, geez, that's a rough hit to have this fucking pedophile ruin your life like that. So we're gonna bring her some things to eat.
That's a nice thing to do.
Very nice.
I think so. I'm gonna be super upset right now. It looks like the Starbucks drive-thru is closed. Is this a joke? Oh my goodness.
Isn't that like the third sign of the apocalypse when Starbucks is closed?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, for you.
Listen, Pat, I need a freaking coffee. It's a long drive for me.
How long is the drive anyway?
I know it. I will not actually disclose the full.
Okay.
Can you at least name the state that she's in?
I will not. I will say that it is not my state. It is not my state. I will not name the state simply because she is that terrified of Cyraxx.
Can you confirm that she is not in the same state as Cyraxx?
She is not in the same state as Cyraxx. No.
Good.
Yeah. She really hauled ass on that one. But she definitely did not want her location getting out. It was just a really, really rough situation all the way around. Listen, you fucking cock. I'm taking a left turn. You just go. Thank you. All right. Yeah, so I mean, it's like I'm getting on the highway here, and we are going to be in business
and showing off offensive driving skills.
Yeah, I'm going to keep the camera off for this one. I'll put it that way.
So I was saying before we started, I am new to this whole genre, this whole subculture of life. I'm a 51-year-old white guy from Central New York who's pretty much an ex-military, ex-nerd who works in a call center for 25 years. I was shocked to even understand that there's such a thing as First Amendment auditors and idiots like Cyraxx out there with their swiping music. So please forgive me if I ask a lot of questions during the course of this, because I'm like this guy Eric Brandt I mentioned in the chat. I have never heard of him, so I hear he's been arrested, and we'll probably ask a bunch of questions regarding context.
She might be having a connection problem.
Oh.
This won't be one of our normal auditing shows, though. This is a very special edition of the Maxwell Report. Are you familiar with Joe Orga?
No. Like I say, I literally started like about a month ago listening to Schrodinger's cat. I stumbled across him dealing with the whole Jeremy DeWitt thing, and then spiraled out into Radical, and who has since spiraled out into this. So really, in terms of like YouTube channels regarding this stuff, Kate is like my third one. So I'm kind of still a newbie that way.
Well, welcome. Sorry, I just realized that I didn't know where the hell I was going and had to turn on my GPS. But so I will say that Cyraxx is not really usually the subject matter. I think we're branching out into what I call persons of interest. So yeah, this is a weird time to jump into it.
He is definitely somebody that you need to keep on people's radar. From just what I've read from the websites that I kind of Googled, from listening to you guys talk about him, from watching his own behavior when he came into your videos the other day, the guy is not exactly walking around with a Mensa card in his wallet.
No,
he's crazy like a fox, though. He is. He's very manipulative, and he definitely uses his appearance to elicit sympathy. And he's not. I wouldn't call Cyraxx a smart man, but he's not intellectually disabled either.
No.
He knows what he's doing.
He's got street smarts when he wants them, and the rest of the time he likes to feign ignorance, is what one of my friends used to say about people like him.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate, actually. I would agree with that.
And the whole pedophile thing, I heard somebody say the other day he's got an arrest record for beating up his own grandmother. Yeah, there's a winner, folks.
Yeah, and his girlfriend, actually several girlfriends. His girlfriend I'm going to see also alleges that he was abusive to her during their time together, which is just really unfortunate that he's able to actually find one or two living, breathing women that aren't catfishes, and obviously vulnerable women with their own issues, and he just really takes advantage of that. And I mean, this is the stuff that monsters are made of right here. Like, he's just like, he needs to get taken off the street post haste. So I don't know if you saw earlier, but last night I've been on Music Biz Marty streams a lot because I fucking love that guy. I've never laughed so much as watching or being a part of Music Biz Marty streams. So, oh my God, him and Schmecklecat and Tyler when he comes on, they are so funny. So I was on there last night,
for the Goon Squad.
Cyraxx actually, what?
Lots of donations coming in for the Goon Squad.
Oh, thanks, Goon Squad. Sorry, if I don't thank you guys, it's because I'm driving, and I'm driving and I can't crash my car. But thank you, all super chats that have come in and future ones. I'll randomly say thank you over the next few hours so that we know that I'm grateful. But yeah, so I was on Music Biz Marty's last night, and Cyraxx actually admitted that before I catfished him as a 14-year-old girl, he had sent his dick to at least 2 other people that he thought were children.
I did see that video today. So what strikes me about this idiot, I'm going to call him an idiot, is I can't even process as a person with more than 3 brain cells banging around in my head that you would go from, hey, I really like you. Good. Now, because she really likes me, I'm going to immediately send a dick pic. You know,
and hideous dick pics. Hideous dick pics. They're really bad. They're really bad.
Now, I'm a jokester. Ask anybody who knows me; they'll tell you I'm a jokester. I will, for example, like if I was meeting you, Kate, in like a chat room or Facebook or something like that, I would say to you like, "Hey, I'll send you a couple of dick pics," and then I would send a picture of Dick Van Dyke and a picture of
that's a good joke, actually. I got
Dick Van
go
Patten.
into that one.
Of Charles Dickens and Richard Nixon, Tricky Dick. That's what I do. That's my icebreaker. Nowhere in my repertoire would I go, let me take out my penis and send that to her right off the bat.
Pat, play please Glenn's laugh at some point tonight. Thank you. Do you know Glenn Serio, Jeff?
Yes, I actually just finished watching a bunch of them. Glenn has been on Schrodinger's Cat's channel a couple of times. He's quite the popular guy out there. I just finished watching one of the 2 security guards that were literally going to kick his ass. He started to laugh at the one of them because he almost tripped over a brick, and then Glenn fell over himself like 5 seconds later.
Lavender, welcome up. Jarhead Goats, welcome up.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, guys.
We have 2 Jarhead Goats, so I'm gonna wait for him to hear something before I exit full screen.
I mean, I'm like I say, I'm in Central New York. I'm in Utica. I'm in Oneida County. I've been friends with our district attorney, McNamara here, Scotty, for going on like 25, 30 years. And I was actually asking him the other day, I was like, is there like is First Amendment auditors and these kind of guys like a regional thing? Is it an economic thing? I mean, are there any of them here in Oneida County? And he's like, no, we haven't got, we've been lucky so far, but sooner or later they're going to move into this way. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm shocked that there's a whole subculture that I'm just now really kind of tripping into.
Yeah, and they're all over the world. I mean, it's crazy. Even though, like, the UK and all of them, they don't have this type of constitution that we do.
Mm-hmm.
They still go out and give their law enforcement a hard time.
Well, I've seen a couple on Schrodinger's channel of Australian First Amendment auditors or sovereign citizens. One of them even's like, this is all an illusion. You need to call Washington, D.C. And I'm like, you're in frickin' Australia, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean,
I think contempt for authority is actually pretty universal, unfortunately.
yes.
So I mean, that's kind of what I figured out with this whole soft First Amendment. It's just, it is really contempt for authority. Speaking of which, you obviously must have heard about Eric Brandt, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So
12
I
years.
do not know who this Eric Brandt is. Could someone provide me with some context before we go into the news so that I can really enjoy it that much more?
Okay, he's a huge... Go ahead, Kate.
I can already feel the bias seeping in. I'm going to, spoiler alert, I'm probably one of the only people, I'm not celebrating Eric's jail sentence, to be completely honest. I don't know how I'm not devastated. I don't think it was a miscarriage of justice or anything like that. It's the same thing with when Josh Abrams went to jail, and I'm like, I feel like I should be like happy about this, but it doesn't personally affect my life, so it doesn't bring me happiness, number one. And number two, like, I don't feel like the loss of liberty is ever anything that I'm happy about. Okay. That being said, Eric Brandt he wasn't really a First Amendment auditor in the sense of like a Glenn Serio or an Auditing America or anything. He didn't go out and film the cops and he was more of like a self-styled activist. And what he would do is go into public and yell the most offensive things like, fuck the cops, Happy Fuck the Cops Day. He would prance around in a pig suit and with a noose around his neck. He would advocate for the random killing of judges and cops. Really, really vile shit that he would say. And he ended up getting hemmed up on several cases where he got into a nasty habit of calling, especially court officials, judges' lobbies, things of that nature, when the system would take adverse action against him or one of his friends, and he would threaten them. And he would, in one phone call, kind of an infamous phone call, he said that he wanted to offer his thoughts and prayers to this particular judge. It is his thought that the judge should be violently murdered, and it is his hope that some motherfucker actually does it, right? Really, really making people feel threatened. So he ended up, getting put sort of on a diversion for some of these charges in one county. And while he was on probation for those charges, he picks up several new charges of a similar, fashion in another county. So he ended up pleading out. We'll never know. And this is one thing I can say about Eric Brandt. As vile and reprehensible as I find his speech to be, I can see the value in someone testing the limits to clearly establish them. You know what I mean? I can see, because what he's saying is terrible. I do not agree with it, but I can see the value of, kind of throwing it out there and helping to establish that line. Eric, as it turns out, did not have the testicular fortitude to follow through with what that means. Because I think what a lot of these guys who these First Amendment auditors and other self-styled, activists forget is that Gandhi did a lot of time in jail. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. Activism in and of itself is kind of a nasty gig. There's not a lot of money in it. There's not a lot of glory, but you're probably going to be sitting in jail for a long time while you set these precedents and sort it out. And these slacktivists, as I like to call them now, they don't want to do the jail time. And Eric Brandt is no exception. He didn't want to risk the fucking jail time, which I don't want to go to jail either, right? But I don't call myself an activist. So we'll never know where he really went on the legal line with his speech because he didn't bother to test it. He pled out and he was sentenced to 4 years per count consecutive. So he'll be in jail for 12 years in theory here. I think he made his bed and he's gonna lie in it. But I mean, I do feel that loss of liberty is never like a great thing as far as I'm concerned. I know other people are happy and I can understand why. I mean, his mouth is vile.
What's up, Warren? What's up, Frog?
What up?
Don't forget about the
Kate, darling. Kate, my take on Brandt is I don't care what he says to a judge or in public. They're grown-ass adults. It's when he docks those children or threatens to dox those kids. That's what I took umbrage at. Leave kids the fuck out of it. That's what really put me against that man. That's just my opinion. That's just my take on it.
Agreed.
And, what he says is vile. But shit, plenty of people say vile crap.
He does it for shock value is what he does it for.
Yeah.
I think he's a lunatic and he's dangerous.
Yeah. And did anyone on this panel? Did you guys watch the sentencing hearing yesterday at all? Were you there?
No,
I did.
No,
I watched it. I watched the
I
whole entire
watched
thing.
most of it.
And as soon as they were ending court, I unmuted my mic and I laughed at him. But yes, I watched the entire sentencing.
So I'll say this about God, guys. So I'll say this about the sentencing hearing, though. The victim impact statements I found to be particularly powerful. He really did place people in fear. And that's something that I don't think, and it wasn't ignored. Obviously, he was sentenced. I think that listening to the defense, though, kind of painted a more robust picture of Eric Brandt's circumstances, and it humanized him a little bit for me. I mean, this is a man who is a Navy veteran. He's homosexual. He allegedly, according to the defense, of course, they're painting him in the most favorable and sympathetic light here. So you can take it with a grain of salt, but I think most of it was pretty accurate. Comes back and has this contempt for authority, and is mentally ill and has a history of methamphetamine abuse. So he's not really able to appropriately articulate that. So I think at some point, Eric Brandt's intentions may have been, dare I say, noble. I mean, at the very least, not necessarily malicious, but a mixture of his mental health issues, his homelessness, and a lot of his own personal issues, and his background. And it's kind of the YouTube notoriety going to his head put him in a place to where his judgment was just so skewed, and he became something so vile. But I mean, it did. Listening to the defense humanized him a little bit for me, and I walked away going, okay, I can kind of understand this guy a little bit more, and that's why, I'm not really. I think he deserves to be in prison for what he did, but I'm not happy about it.
But
What do you think about Ransom? Words put forth as threats should get restraining orders, not decades in prison.
Right, but the problem that you have to realize too is the fact that with his statement that he made, all that shit that he was talking about and the backpedaling that he did, he sold out quicker than the iPhone, for crying out loud. He tucked his tail between his legs and ran.
Okay, when you had him up on panel here, after all the bullshit and drama crap, when he was actually lucid, he was quite personable. There's a semblance of intelligence there.
That's the problem with Eric. That he probably is quite intelligent.
Yeah, and then he just goes off and has these rage fits and goes ballistic.
And that's because he doesn't. It's for some reason, and it's a number of these retards. They read that First Amendment, and it says freedom of speech, and that they don't take account of that has been defined to not mean you are free to speak what you want, when you want, at what point you want.
Yes, true.
It's I can't understand his thinking. One thing I spotted today was, rather than commit the same offence 4 or 5 times, which I think is what he did, it's at least 4 times because they dropped one, is he could have just committed the offence once, taken it to trial, been found guilty, have potentially gone and proved his point that it was allowable speech, i.e. his activism, and had to face a lesser jail sentence than he's actually got now. So is he an activist? No, he isn't, because he did it 4 or 5 times. I mean, I've got a clip of him doing the same thing to cops in Texas, cross state lines, and whether federally he's got something coming down the line, who knows?
Well, the crazy thing is, all of his followers yesterday, after court was all over and they sentenced him, all of his followers were like, "Oh my God, you got jail time! Oh my God, he pled guilty. Oh, you should appeal it. You can't appeal when you agree to a plea deal. You can't appeal." And they were like, "Oh, appeal it, Eric. You'll be great. You'll win. Appeal it." Get the fuck out of here.
Dutch wants to know how long till you get there.
I got the impression, especially when Eric was kind of giving his statement, that I think he has kind of come to the realization that he has created a monster that is beyond his own control. Because you could hear him sort of trying to placate the supporters and asking that their actions reflect on him. And it didn't matter. They were just like a steam train. They were told numerous times, all of his supporters, do not use the chat function. And they were writing the most disrespectful, ignorant, nasty shit in that chat, even though the judge explicitly told them. And you could tell Eric was getting nervous, like, please don't hold them against me. And I think that's the problem with this sort of, incendiary, really controversial YouTube notoriety. I'm not going to call it stardom, that wouldn't be accurate, but notoriety is that you can start to create a following that is going to become outside of your own control, right? Because those 400 people that were in there yesterday, they're all their own people, and a lot of them have bought into his rhetoric, and he can't turn around and say, never mind, I changed my mind, and expect that everybody's just going to go, okay, we'll follow you off that cliff too. He deeply entrenched these ideals in these people, and now it's out of his control.
And he has created this following, and it only needs one of that following to do something really stupid based on what Eric has said.
Yep.
And you could end up with a dead judge.
Kate, could you just clear something up for the punters, please? He cannot appeal. He's going to do 12 straight years. Yes, or no?
Yes, he took a plea deal. You cannot.
He's not doing. He won't
There's
do
no
12
appeal,
straight
no
years.
good behavior. It's 12
You cannot
years.
appeal. You
No,
cannot
no.
appeal when you take
There
a plea.
is good.
Ward, you're asking a different question. Jimmy, he could
No.
get out in less than 12 years. I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't mean to bite your head off, but this has been like, and again, like, I'm sorry, guys, but there is a part of me that finds it slightly concerning and sociopathic when people are like, yes, like, he's going to serve 21 years because I hope they add on more time. Like, dude, the guy didn't do anything to you. Calm the fuck down.
He'll probably
like, he could get off in less than 12 years, and if he does, fine. I mean, no matter what, it's not going to be tomorrow. He's in there for a long time, but yes, I mean, he could foresee, he could earn good time. He has a parole period. At some point he will go out for parole. Like 12 years does not mean 12 years to the day.
Yeah,
but he can't appeal it. Warrant's right there.
If he works and he does like that, if he works in jail and does stuff like that, he also gets time, taken off. And if he's good, and if he like enrolls in school and like all this shit that he does, he'll be out in probably 8, 7 maybe.
I didn't know, Kate. That's why I was asking
reduction
you to
as well.
clarify that.
Normally, the Department of Corrections is 85% of your sentence with, that's if you've got good time and everything like that.
Is he going to county jail? Is he going to federal prison? Because that's different.
No, this isn't federal. This is county.
No, it's DOC, Department of Corrections.
Yeah, so then he's got to serve 85%.
He's a state inmate.
Yeah.
What state's in?
Colorado.
And I'm just kind of glancing, and I agree with Lindsay that yes, I mean, drug dealers, I have my own issues with the war on drugs, so I'm not going to get into that. But domestic abusers, pedophiles, they get less time than what Eric just got for his speech. Not that I'm excusing what he did. I don't agree with it, and I think that there had to be consequences. You can't just go around terrorizing people like that. And when you heard, the fear and the pain in his victims' voices, right? Like, it was not staged. They felt that. To listen to one judge talk about how he had to call his children and his father and say, listen, I might get killed because I'm getting a lot of death threats today. Like, that's terrible. Nobody should go through that. And I think even Eric, when he was on my panel that one time, I asked him point blank, do you regret your actions? And he told me, well, I have, my sentencing is still pending. I can't answer that. I would be happy to after it's resolved. Obviously, he was remanded to the Department of Corrections, so he wasn't able to answer that. But he did answer that in his statement to the court, and he did concede, which I think is hard for somebody like him, that what he did was morally wrong. And I believe that was genuine on his part, because he's not somebody who, he doesn't go in front of the court most of the time and try to save face. He's been a real dumb son of a bitch in court a lot of the time, but he was able to at least acknowledge that it was wrong. And that's why, and the mental health component that goes in with Eric Brandt is, it's complicating at best, because obviously I think he is an intelligent guy. I think that some of his core ideals of the idea of, provocative speech and testing the limits, I can get down with that. The way that he executed it, though, like, no, not for me. Nope.
And he doesn't have a mental health diagnosis, does he? That became clear.
No,
yesterday.
during the court case yesterday, they said he does not have a diagnosis.
Yeah, and perhaps he should have got one if he really has one, because that might have helped him yesterday.
He's got one on. He's got one on the streets. It's called meth head.
Yeah.
His counselor did speak on his behalf, saying that he had PTSD and anger issues and stuff like that, but he was, working on that.
Yeah, but he wasn't medically qualified to diagnose.
No.
Have you seen his rants and his behaviour stripping in a court? And the guy's unhinged. You gotta say, there's something wrong there. I'm not a shrink, but there's something. He's got fucking massives. Whether you realise that, whether you can diagnose it professionally or not.
I think a lot of it's for show, though. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think he's got this anger streak that clicks in, and he can't control it for a little while.
Yeah. If he can't control the narrative, that's when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, doesn't that become a mental concern? Or isn't that a mental concern?
It's
on some level.
Anger issue.
Yeah, he's got anger issues. He's a narcissist.
It's a shame too, because he's actually, when you listen to him and he's lucid and on evil head, what's it called, level headed, and he's quite personable. He's quite intelligent. You can listen to the guy, and he makes a bit of sense on this, that, and the other. And then he just
He's
goes.
He's another one that could have used his activism for good.
Yeah.
He has this interest in obviously the homeless community. That's where he could have concentrated. That's where he could have done his good. Except he wanted to take on authority. It's a bit like
I agree with Kate. I think he created a monster, and then had to sort
Hold
of
on.
keep up.
I mean, Frog was you cut Frog off though. You finish this thought, please.
I was just going to have a go at someone who's in your Discord server who is another person who could use his anger to try and reform the jail system, except he wants to go out and shout at cops. It's...
Well, a bunch of them could, and they all claim that they do. Oh, I go feed the homeless on this day or whatever. But okay, but there's more that you could focus yourself into that area and really make a difference.
Furry goes out. Furry does that. She goes out and provides tampons for homeless women and shit like that, and does a lot of social good. But then she's a dead set asshole on the other side of things.
She's also the spokesperson for pepper spray, so there's that too.
This is true.
Sorry to cut you off, Liv. Sorry.
Well, I think real activism, that's going to make a resounding, long-lasting, tangible change is also pretty boring. It's grueling. It comes with high risk. You know what I mean? And a lot of the time, in this day and age of this instant gratification culture, right? Like, you're not always going to get the notoriety as an activist while you're alive that these people want, right? It's sort of like art and other things that really change society. Sometimes the impact doesn't even register until after you're freaking dead. These people, they figure it now. They want to be the hero now. They want the recognition is in the middle. That's why they live stream themselves feeding the homeless, right? Because they want you to give them that recognition while they're doing it. They want you to see what they're doing and tell you how wonderful they are, and tell them how wonderful they are, in real time. And that's just not how you affect change, unfortunately. Yep. It's grueling. Lobbying is hard work. There's a lot of setbacks. There's a lot of, writing and networking and, consulting with others. And, in the case of like somebody like Eric Brandt, if you're going to test the boundaries of free speech like that, you have to be ready to do jail time. And I understand when people, I don't want to do jail time either. Okay. But if that's where you're going to try to rest your laurels, you need to understand the occupational hazards in that. And for Eric to really make a change with what he was doing, which again, I mean, I don't know that the hill that I would die on is the right to call up civil servants and tell them to fucking kill themselves. I don't think that's anything that we need in society. But, if that's what you're going to do, you have to be ready to go to jail. You have to be ready to sit it out and sit in jail for decades to be different. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with, I seen a couple in chat say that, like MJ, Sasquatch said it also. Furry doesn't do that for the homeless people. Furry doesn't do anything for what she says she's doing it for. She does it for clicks and views and
maybe,
that paycheck on the 21st.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't follow that closely, but I've seen her do some
shit. I don't either. I've never seen her do anything for the homeless.
She does have
Kate mentioned it before.
She has another channel, I think, where she does some shit. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, but one good deed doesn't cross out.
I don't know, darling.
But the problem is you can't have a channel where you do nice things on, and then have a channel where you are a complete asshole.
Oh, she is that.
and then say on your stream that you're a complete asshole on that. Oh, hey, but I do good things to the community. No, nobody can see that. No, shut up. You have to do 10 good things in order to kind of, right the one wrong thing you did. She's a
Right.
fucking
shout out to
hypocrite.
Shout out to Keeping It Criminal, a new member for you, Kate.
Yes, thank you. Keeping it criminal. Sorry, guys. Again, I'm driving to see Cyraxx's ex-girlfriend right now and cannot keep focus on the
I love
chat
this
here.
channel.
Where does said person live?
Undisclosed location.
Disclose the location. So unfortunately, she is without a home. So I'm gonna go up and bring her some stuff just because, like, when I got to talking to her, like, the reason that she reached out is because she's like, look, like, I've been saying for a very long time that Chance is a pedophile. He absolutely terrorized me and destroyed my life. He was having explicit Skype sessions with her 13-year-old cousin, which she was pretty upset about. And she got to talking to me, and she let me know kind of some of her situation, and it was bad. And I'm like, all right, well, the least I can do is I get to bring you some food because this is a shitty situation.
Kate, what can be done about Cyraxx? Clearly, there's proof that he's targeting minors. Where the fuck does the cops step in and stop this prick? At what point does that happen?
As far as I know, they're investigating, and I mean, I don't want to speak for a department that I'm not affiliated with in any way.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, charges are forthcoming with the incident with me. Now, in the meantime, obviously, I'm just fucking. That's what I'm doing right now. Plus, I mean, on a personal note, he decided that he was gonna, wage war and show his penis on my stream and really become nasty. Yeah, like, let's play this game. I love internet feuds, and honestly, like, he's one of the worst people that I've encountered in a long time. I don't feel bad at all about warring with him. So, he right now is accusing me of sending hitmen after him. I categorically deny that. I have not sent any hitmen after anyone.
Yeah, recruit.
They're goons. Referred to as goons.
Hang on, now that's a lie, because I'm Kate's personal hitman, and you have not given me a directive to target him. So I can refute that.
I just want to make a disclaimer that he's speaking in hyperbolic speech right now. He's not an actual hitman. I do not employ any hitmen. We're not that kind of mob here. I mean, the guy's just fucking, like, he's doing anything he can to take the attention off the fact. And like I said, I put out a video earlier on, or last night on Music Biz Marty stream. He actually admitted that prior to me, posing as a 14-year-old girl, he sent his dick to at least 2 other people that he thought were minors. I obviously haven't ID'd anyone to find out whether or not they actually were, but that's just what he's admitting now, is that there's more before I even stepped into the picture.
That is just so crazy.
I'm sort of catching up on this, Cyraxx. Has he also got some? There was some offence with a younger lad.
Yes.
At some point, was that sexual as well?
A blind child, blind guy.
He was blind.
Yeah, he was firing off knuckle children onto a blind kid's face.
Jesus Christ.
You have a way with words, Warren.
Yeah, you sure do.
Yeah. And he strangled his grandmother. And then, of course, there's these allegations that keep popping up. He can't really answer. Of course, he's saying that all of his ex-girlfriends are crazy and spiteful. And I mean, I understand that they are in vulnerable situations. He is Candle, he is claiming, is diagnosed with schizophrenia. I don't know if that's true. I don't really go around asking people for their diagnosis. But I mean, if that's the case, it's even more predatory. Why are you picking up these extremely vulnerable women and abusing them, Cyraxx? Why?
He was just born at the wrong time, wasn't he?
I fail to see how any female could be attracted to that freak. He looks like fucking E.T.
Well, I was thinking,
you ever seen the movie E.T.?
Said E.T.
E.T.'s cute.
He was born at the wrong time. He could have been in E.T. He could have been in Lord of the Rings, but he was just born at the wrong time.
The guy's got no chin or shoulders.
it transcends attraction, Jimmy, and that is just predatory behavior. He is picking up women, the women that are not catfishing him for, amusement or to prove that he's a pedophile or whatever else. Like, he's picking up women that are so vulnerable that, attraction doesn't even really enter the chat. It's about their own self-esteem and their own feelings about what they're worth and what they deserve. And he lies and he picks people that unfortunately are oh man, I'm just going to say it, unintelligent enough to believe that he has a $1 billion record deal. And then he just kind of ensnares them. And these are women that don't have a lot of resources and maybe not a lot of life skills. And, he's definitely dating below himself. So you take his functioning level and now he's going to be scooping up below how he functions. And it's that in itself. I know it's not criminal, but it's reprehensible. It's just reprehensible what he does.
Okay. A few people have asked if you're alone and if you're going to be safe.
I am alone. I'm perfectly safe. I carry pepper spray.
Kate,
Is it
I'm
blue?
absolutely gobsmacked.
We asked the same thing.
Kate, I'm gobsmacked that there's ladies out there that fall for this guy, that they're so vulnerable. God, why aren't they getting help? To fall for a piece of shit like that, it blows my mind. It seriously blows my mind, Kate.
I have that I guess I like that savior complex in me, which I have to put in check because it would be really, 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 really delusional of me to think that I could save anybody or let alone everyone. But I wish that more women knew that you deserve basic respect. You just took me a long time because you got to remember at one point, I wasn't Cyraxx level desperate, but I've dated my fair share of shitbags. I understand the psychology behind that. Maybe not to that degree, but I get feeling so low that you just kind of take what you feel like you can get. Yeah. And there are men out there and women too. There are women that just the same, there are people out there that will take full advantage of that. And nothing good ever comes from it. And he's a sick fuck, man, with the dog mutilation and the pictures of the naked little kids and the babies with the knives to their heads and, sending his dick unsolicited to everyone that he encounters. And there's videos of him shoving fingers and objects in his freaking urethra, man.
Ugh. Yeah.
And he sent those videos to what may or may not be a 12-year-old girl.
Frog, you got to see the videos, man. Then you understand
you
what I'm
don't.
talking about. How any woman has such a low self-esteem to be attracted to this piece of shit. Just blows my fucking mind. God, we need to get out there and help so many people. We really, really fucking do. I don't know where to start. I don't know the solution. I'm not that fucking good. I'm nowhere near that good, But it just blows my fucking mind.
I'm going to have to drop out because I need to go to sleep soon and I can't have those thoughts in my mind. Jesus Christ. Even thinking about his photograph sitting... I don't know if he was standing or sitting in front of the car. He looked pretty short to me, but disgusting human being.
God, I feel for those women.
Well, good night, all. Thanks for having me on the panel, Kate.
Good night, buddy.
Good night, Frog.
Yes.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Yes.
So we had a nice discussion this morning at about 4 a.m. with Mars Life on Kenny's panel. I know, but we actually kind of started to get through to him, and Virgo came up and we were talking to him about that Anna von Reitz or whatever, and she was asking him what made him feel that she was a real deal, and he would explain his side a little bit, kind of, and then she would come back and say, look, this is what's facts. And it was, he apologized to her, thanked her for talking to him, and understanding that he's, can't articulate very well. And so by the end of it, I had told Kenny backstage, I was like, hey, I think this might go a little bit better if we set a date for, a week or so from now where he can have his papers and his facts written down and questions that he would like to speak with Virgo about. So we told him that, and we offered him, if you can get Anna to come on and him and Virgo and everybody talk, that would be great. So they set a date for 2 weeks from now, but we're not holding our breath on it.
I hope Kate looks into this Anna Von Wright. That's another one you can target, Kate, and check out.
Well, it's so easy. She claims to be a judge, claims that she's not in anything for money. She's a sob sit. Go ahead, Hank.
If you go back and look at the videos that Virgo's already done on the matter, it's got it covered pretty damn good.
Yes. Right, Bex. But yeah, we don't think that Miss Von Wright is going to show up because she already knows about Virgo and what she does.
Well, she's already put out misinformation about Virgo to keep her
that
followers
too.
from believing her.
Yeah, that too.
Kate's got a team of people that investigate. They're very good. And
Absolutely.
if there's any discrepancies there, she'll find it and she'll expose it.
Yeah.
And Kate's fair. She'll give this lady all the opportunity in the world to say her side of things.
Well, and
yeah,
Virgo would be the same way. She's very even keeled, So
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Nothing against Kate, but Virgo and her way of doing it. Not that Kate's not credible. It's just Virgo is more credible to me.
No, I don't know. But I'm just wondering, Pat, you're an American, or Hank, you're American. What can be done about this Cyraxx clown? What's the next step? At what point does this clown actually get into court and face the music?
The police aren't going to just swoop in right away. They've got to do a proper investigation first and get their facts straight. If they go in half-cocked, then they can lose any chance of prosecuting them.
I agree, Margie. Oh, he's here. From what I understand, the police have contacted him, and I don't know what was said. I seen Kate posted this, so and that he had spoke to a lawyer that told him to stay off the internet or stay off YouTube.
That's really weird.
And leave Kate alone and just try to let this all die down. I mean, I don't know. I really don't think sexually abusing juveniles dies down. I did check though, and there is a limit. The statutory limit is 20 years. After 20 years for rape or sexual abuse, sexual battery, sexual assault.
What about like him sending pics to minors?
Oh yeah, that's definitely. They'll confiscate his phone, his computer, anything electronic they will take, and however much stuff they find is how many charges he'll get of being in possession of kiddie porn, or, you know, it's crazy. And then the ones that he actually had sexual contact with. Wow.
I'm just wondering when all this begins, or how long does it take? What's the process, you know?
Yeah.
This guy's got to come off the net. He has got to be pulled into line now. Not in 6 months, not in a year. It's got to happen now.
Well, while they're working the investigation, I would be pretty sure they're keeping an eye on him.
Can't they get him offline at least in the interim?
Not until he's proven guilty of something.
Fuck me. So God knows how many kids he can fucking harass or terrorize in the meantime.
If he gets brought in and bonds out, it could be part of his bond is to not have any internet use.
Rape is usually a no bond. So
I just don't like
in
the
our
fact
state, in our state, I'm sorry. I forgot to throw that disclaimer in there. Where I'm from.
I mean, you know, you guys all know me. I call a spade, not a fucking shovel. The guy's a pedo. We all fucking know it. The guy's got to be pulled in the line fucking now before he starts targeting more and more young girls out there. And I know there's a legal process. I get all that, but it sucks. This shit's got to fucking happen now. That's what I'm pissed about. That's what's giving me the shits. Surely there's enough evidence now to at least get him off YouTube for the time being, get him off the net for the time being, and then nail the fucker with everything and anything you get on him. Surely there's enough already out there now to stop this piece of shit.
When they do an investigation like this, they want to make sure they cross all their T's, dot all their I's, because they don't want some asshole getting out on a technicality because they rushed ahead.
I get all that. God, surely there's enough fucking now. Just, you know, I don't know.
I like that banner.
This is too close to my heart, this one.
It's hard. Anything
I
that
have
involves
zero
children is
tolerance
hard.
for pedophiles left. I got zero tolerance. If I had my way, I'd snap their fucking necks. This is my opinion only. It's not muscles. I'd snap their necks and smile doing it.
Yeah, unfortunately, he still has, the rights to due process and everything else. So, and like Hank said, I'm sure whatever detective or detectives are working on it are doing a very thorough job. Because you don't want to mess up on something like that. When you take a pedo down, you want him to stay down. In my state, in my opinion.
And I know for a fact out here in my country, the pedo laws are bullshit. You will get more time in jail for frauding the government of money than you would if you were molesting children. And that's fucked up.
Really, as strict as your country is.
Yep. They're changing it slowly. A kid never fucking recovers. You wear that shit the rest of your life. A rape victim never recovers. Yeah. They might have a productive life. They might marry and have kids and blah, blah, blah. It's still in the back of their fucking mind that they got violated at some point in their life. They never, ever forget it. You never recover fully.
Ever.
So why should these pricks do 2 years and get out on good behavior?
Do you have a lot of cases like
Oh,
this
we
over
got as
there?
many as you guys for our population.
Really? I
Yeah,
was
those are
thinking
worldwide,
maybe.
darling.
Wow. Well, I know they are, but I figured, if what I was actually thinking was, since the punishment was so low, maybe you had less people doing this, but I guess not.
There was a ring just recently uncovered out here, and it went from Australia, New Zealand to Hong Kong. 168 people got busted in a pedo ring. They were
How many?
judges. They were 168 people.
Oh
They were
my God.
judges. They were fucking teachers. They were priests in 3 and 4 different countries, and they haven't even got to the head of the snake, if for want of better words.
Bronx Beats, you don't like what we're saying? Give us a subject. Gary, you guys are going to have to chat backstage because Kate's figuring out GPS and Pat had to step away. So we're just trucking
And
along.
Lavna, from what I know, there's 168 people. There was over 800,000 photos of children in compromising positions, in sexual positions, nude, blah, blah, blah. 800,000 between these. You wonder why everyone's beats up on the cops. How do you realize how hard it is to track these pricks down?
My goodness.
It blows your fucking mind what the cops are up against trying to track these pedo rings.
That is so crazy.
1,000 photos between those 168 people that they did catch.
Wow. That just blows my mind. I mean,
it makes you want to fucking puke.
Well, yeah. Absolutely. It's so foul.
That is literally, I don't know, 400,000 or 500,000 different fucking kids.
And we're back.
Okay.
Oh, sorry about that. I had to focus on my GPS for a minute. My bad.
No problem.
Sorry,
we
Kate. I was
just
talking about a pedo ring out here that got half exposed. 800,000 photos of kids, sexual positions, and 168 arrests between Australia, New Zealand, and Hong Kong. And they haven't even got the whole chain of them. They only got 168 of them. There's more.
That's terrible.
It's ridiculous. It's fucking sickening. What the fuck is happening out there to our kids? God, this world is fucked up.
Yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, Cyraxx has brought out like the darkest conversation that we've had on the channel in a while. I mean, that whole thing, he went from being like amusing and funny and kind of dumb to like just dark really, really quickly.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Can you guys, if someone, I don't know, if someone could read the chat for me too when I ask this question, because I can't, but I need to go buy these food items, and obviously they have to be shelf stable, but I don't want to like rob someone of basic nutrition. Like, do you have any, like, what should I get?
So that she needs non-perishables?
So hang on, Kate,
Yeah.
you're going to some young lady now that needs food.
Yeah, well, yeah, and like I said, like, you know, it was not like, this isn't like some sort of like, you know, I'm not some sort of homeless advocate. Not that I have anything against the homeless or anything like that, but I'm not like, hey, look at me or whatever. It just so happens that when I was speaking to her, I was listening to how like rough her life has been and kind of the bad position that she's in. And, you know, I'm not somebody who, like, you know, I can't do a lot. And it's like, your first impulse is like, well, maybe I should get you a hotel room, but that's not a permanent solution. I wonder if you can.
Is she in a home, a
Okay.
house of her own, or a unit or something, or she?
No. I mean, she's on the street.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we've got
So she's
beans.
got no refrigeration and shit like that.
It has to be
beans,
something they can eat, without they can't cook really either. So.
Well, fruit's always important in a
soup.
diet. You know that. Fruit's always important. And then probably
Nuts.
Fruit is
guessing
perishable
tinned
though,
stuff.
unless maybe fruit is
Yeah.
perishable.
Yeah.
Tuna, chicken, ramen, peanut butter, Chef
Hey,
Boyardee.
You
Mac
might want
and
to pick her up a bottle of multivitamins too.
That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, if you
Really
can
good
get
That's a real
liquid
good
form,
idea,
that's
Frank.
or gummies.
Yeah.
If
And they
you buy
have that
tin stuff,
shelf
darling,
milk.
make sure you've got a can opener. Open it.
The
Or
Denny
make
Moore,
sure they're pop top.
the Denny Moore
Oh.
meals.
Yeah, but she can't heat it up, Hank. If she's got no cooking or
Yeah.
refrigeration.
I eat them all the time without heating them up.
Oh, okay. My bad.
It's
Jim
Yeah, I
Walbert's
guess
fully
that's
cooked
the
meals.
only thing you can really do.
Water's
Jim
important.
Walbert says tissue. Toilet tissue.
Oh, good
That's-
idea. Some basic hygiene.
Yeah, hygiene products, tampons, pads, or whatever, girlies. That's important.
But
Protein shake powder.
that's what I was thinking.
Wipes.
Some like instant breakfast and things like that.
Yeah, and they
Hey,
make that
wipes.
shelf milk.
We call them baby wipes out here. They're like
Yeah.
little moist towelettes that you can wash, sort of semi-wash yourself at least.
Yeah.
I mean, they even have ones that are specifically for like dry showering. They're bigger
Oh yeah,
than
baby
the baby
wipes. You got the
wipes.
same thing. Yeah,
Yeah, they're just bigger.
wet wipes, baby wipes, same
Um,
thing.
James Luttrell suggests if you can find MREs, they have the
Not very cost effective.
Yeah, and I feel like they probably
'Cause
don't carry that at your local stop
The
shop.
MREs will cost you about $20 a piece if you can find them.
but they are very dense in calories, which is
Yeah,
something
but
that she needs.
even if she spreads it out, she might get 2, maybe 3 days out of it.
Kate, another thought. Where is she? And well, you don't need to answer that. Is it possible to get her food voucher so she can buy little things herself as she needs them every few days?
A Stop and Shop card. Jimmy,
Yeah,
you
something like that.
goddamn beautiful genius.
Yeah, loaded
You know what I
credit
mean?
card,
She can
prepaid
go
card.
in, get a few things, eat it, and it doesn't perish, and then she can go in the next day and get something else. You know,
Or
every few
she can
days.
get like news now.
Something like that.
OKC says socks.
Yeah, and she can
Melissa
choose her
Vaughn
own.
bar soap.
She can choose her own product versus
Get a
what you
couple,
think she
you know,
might
get a
want.
couple of bread rolls and ham one day, and have a bit of salad sandwich or something. And then a few days later, she can go and get something else.
That is a very, very wise idea. I didn't even think
News.
about that, honestly. That is a really good idea. Because I'm like, I don't really like to give out. First of all, I'm balling on a budget at all times. So I'm not somebody who just hands out money because I don't really fucking have it. But even if I did, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not helpful, I feel like, most of the time. Because, like, it's a fine line, but I know, like, I've been in shitty positions before. I'm, the queen of white trash, and handouts don't help you. They really don't. You just become kind of complacent, and I did not receive handouts. I had to get up and figure out how to do it on my own, and I'm thankful for that because, it really instilled a lot of lessons in me that I needed. So I want that for everybody else too, obviously. So I don't think that giving people cash is ever really that good of an idea when you're trying to help them. But at the same time, you gotta eat, right? Like,
yeah, and it's hard to pick out food for other people because you don't know if she's
Everybody
got
got their own diet.
allergies.
Kate,
What
if you
does
put
she
your
like?
PayPal somewhere, I'll slip you $50 right now.
I was gonna say,
No,
ask, do
no.
you
We're
have a
good. We're good.
PayPal?
I'm happy to help, Kate.
No,
Me
I don't do
too.
that. No, I'm not. I'm serious. I appreciate it, guys. You guys are awesome. But yeah, no, we're all good here. This is
Well,
like, I make some AdSense, and I say a lot, and I'm not just talking shit. That like my AdSense is, it goes toward things with this channel, whether it's this crazy mission right here, or whatever other nonsense we're pulling. Like that's where the AdSense goes. So it's not like I have money for this. I appreciate it, but I want everybody to keep their money and thrive.
well, you can also
Thank
take
you,
a photo
Crazy.
of
So
once you scratch off the code on it, you can take a photo of it and you can recharge it remotely.
Kate, if you've got anyone in the basement, I'm reading private chat.
I can't read private chat, Jimmy. I'm driving.
Oh, sorry, Pat. Is Pat there? Is he?
I'm
just reading private chat there.
Yes,
Jeff Hart is in the basement, I'm thinking.
I'll read private chat as soon as I get to.
Yeah, you're right, Dom. You're right.
Yeah, I just gotta.
I think Jeff's in the basement. That's all.
Sorry, Jeff. Yeah, I can deal with that when I'm not driving. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I think if you can get little cards or
in
something
chat,
or vouchers, that's the best idea. And then they can get what they want every couple of days.
Kate, a lot of people in chat would like to donate, but don't want to use Super Chat because they take so much of it.
Okay. Well, honestly, even if I wanted to post my PayPal, I'm driving.
Well, if you take a picture of the card information, you can recharge it again online, so you can get something to get her by for now, and then we could throw money towards you to charge the card with.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. We can do the community page. The only thing I want to say is that we do want to keep this in balance with, like, guys, we cannot. And I love this group. Like, honestly, that is like, I'm so glad to know all of you, because I've met some like the kindest people. Whether we're sending flowers to that woman that whose dog passed away that Furry was terrorizing, or this right here. You guys are awesome. But we also want to be mindful that we're not causing people to become dependent on us as a group, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is my personal opinion that giving is a, quick, do it, don't let it linger and move on thing, so that, people get a little bit of help up, but they're not expecting, reloads on that card every week, because that's not sustainable. It's not fair to anybody. But, we can put it up and figure that out. Or, maybe we should start a giving fund. I never even thought about that, but I suppose we could. I mean, rather than super chats and all that crap, honestly, a giving fund would be a nice thing to do.
We would
have to democratically decide where it's going.
If you do something like that to keep the scam accusations at a minimum, you might check some of your local CPAs.
Yeah.
To see if
I wouldn't keep that in I wouldn't keep that in my hot little hand.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would not do that.
Well, yeah, my CPA does it for free when we're doing charitable stuff. She'll manage the money and have all the receipts and everything.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm in Massachusetts, if anyone knows any CPAs, but I can definitely look into that on my own time too. That's a nice thing to do. I it's always good to want to leave the world a little bit better than when you got here, right? Like I fully get behind that. This was just really like an impulsive thing that I'm doing because, she reached out to me, and obviously I was interested to hear about the Cyraxx thing, but like her story really, really kind of touched me, just because like what a shitty situation to be in, man.
Right.
And I can't look at somebody like that and just spit on them for it, but I don't want to enable either. So.
Well, the Dole fruit cups usually have good vitamins in them.
Kate, Jeff would like to say to you, I would suggest not keeping the stream open for as long as the time it takes to get to the X's. You don't want to give any of Cyraxx's associates the possibility of trying to figure out how far she is from you.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. You know.
You know what I think, Kate? Every week or whatever, Furry harasses the church. I think that if we raise funds, donate money to the church that is harassed that week, but it's not for the church, it's for the charity that church supports.
Well, not every church has a charity, and honestly, I'm like, nah. I mean, I don't know. The issue that I have with what Furry does is the impact on the parishioners, not so much the church as an institution, if we're being completely honest. And like churches always have money. I wish that there was a way to undo some of the damage that is done with this street level harassment with the auditors, because obviously that's my main problem with it is the people that get impacted. But what's the price tag on someone's dignity? I don't think there is one.
Right.
I wish it's so easy to when you see something that bothers you and you just want to throw money at it. I'm the same way too. I get annoyed with stop your stupid activism, throw some money at it. You can't throw money at every situation. You really can't. Which is why, I really don't like to push anything on this channel even because you can't throw money at this. It's not going to fix it. I think that the conversations that I've had with people who have been victimized by these auditors or, people like Cyraxx or, anything else is just gratitude for feeling vindicated. And I think that's when we come together and support people and say, hey, what happened to you was wrong. And I see that and I feel that. And I want you to know that I know that it was wrong. That vindicates people. That does help them in the little way that we can.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. Sorry, now I can let people in. Again, my bad. Okay. Now.
I just can't get my head around. I don't see why Furry harasses, but what the fuck is wrong in her head?
I don't know.
She's got to harass a lady bearing a dog. That she's got to call someone else's crutch a money maker. It's just oh god. Call a guy a blue smurf. What the fuck is wrong in your head, lady? Seriously, where did your life go so wrong that you think that's funny, that you think that's justified in any way, shape, or
Yeah, she's sick in the head.
I will say this on the subject of financial stuff and this candle situation. She was telling me there is some sort of issue with a camper that she was living in. I don't know. I had told her at one point, well, what does your camper need? Because my husband was a mechanic for several years before, he settled on the plumbing trade. So I said, well, I can have him look at it and we can kind of figure out from there. She wasn't able to articulate what is wrong or the solution with the camper very well. And I'm not sure. So I don't even have a dollar amount. I don't know if it's feasible to even be able that is where I draw a line right there. I'm not just going, you're not going to tell me I need $500 and I'm going to give you $500. Sorry. Nope.
Right.
Nope. I'll pay a shop or I'll pay an impound fee directly. So we can definitely maybe revisit that if we can figure out exactly what she needs with this camper situation. But for tonight, we're just I'm actually going to be a white trash lady and smoke this Newport in the parking lot real quick, and then we're gonna go get gift card and some food together.
Hey, Kate, one of the things I was saying in private chat earlier was I know Big Lots, you can get the big giant bags of the little snack pack size bags of freeze dried fruit in different flavors.
That's a good idea.
On behalf of Kate, she probably can't see chat. Thank you for all the stupid chats that are coming in. You're all awesome.
Yeah, thanks, guys. You don't have to do that. Crazy Schizo, thank you very much. So we'll make sure that we add that 20 to the gift card. Scott, thank you. Disgusting Furry. I agree. John F. Protection money. No thanks. So I'm gonna add that money to the gift card, I suppose.
And I would also suggest
thank you to everyone
wherever
for
she's
contributing.
living, Kate, maybe look at trying to get her in touch with the local YWCA. I know here in our area they have apartments that they set up for women who are on the street and on the run from abusive exes, that sort of thing. See if there's any kind of programs in her area that she might be able to connect with.
I had looked up shelters in the area, and this is where, like, homelessness is a really complicated issue. So she didn't
Aren't
seem like she
shelters
really
dangerous
wanted.
for a woman? Okay.
No, not most. No, honestly, most of them are not. Most of them are not.
Oh, okay,
A lot
my
of
bad. My
a lot
bad.
of shelters are gender segregated. Even the ones, I mean, they're staffed. There's a lot of misconception about homeless shelters. The fact of the
Yep.
matter is, when you look at danger, nothing is more dangerous than the street. Point blank.
Correct.
Like, no matter where you go, it's not going to be more dangerous than the street. Proven. However, shelters place limitations on people that they might not be capable of meeting at the time, whether it be an expectation of sobriety or staying away from an abusive partner. They're just homelessness is a really complicated situation. Long story short, she did not seem very receptive to the idea of a shelter and had a plethora of excuses why she can't get into a shelter or will not get into a shelter. She'd asked me for a tent so that they could camp. I have not gotten her a tent, to be completely honest. I suppose I could come back with a tent. I feel weird doing that because I really don't. I don't encourage the camping thing because that, again, is dangerous and illegal.
Kate,
It's not a good idea.
Kate, I just picked up on the word "they" wanted a tent. Is she with someone? Is that one of the reasons why they're not looking at shelters?
She does have a traveling companion of some sort.
Is it a girl? Is it a guy?
Like I was saying, Jimmy, here I live in the center of New York State. I live by Syracuse, New York.
Stacy.
They have a whole apartment building that the YWCA's domestic abuse program has for women here that are victims of domestic assault, domestic abuse. They set them up in an apartment for 2 years while they help them, while they counsel them to get their lives back in order. One of my good friends, one of my exes, in fact, is one of the coordinators there. I'm very active in my local volunteer groups here. I work at the zoo, I work at the Historical Society. So I try to keep my ear to the ground about opportunities like that. And really the best one I would recommend for Kate would be the one she's already looked at, which is either a domestic abuse shelter, a homeless shelter, or a YWCA.
I'm gonna just go ahead and point to Gigi Allen's comment and kind of concur on this. I get the impression also that she is sort of homeless by choice at this point, which is why I am tentative to say, as much as I like the idea of like, oh, we'll send a picture of the gift card and we can reload it and we can do that. Like, that is just really, like, we don't want to set up dependence here with somebody who may, not be making the greatest choices. At the end of the day, I just believe, like, everybody needs to fucking eat. Like, everybody needs to eat.
And you can't fault anybody for wanting to reach out and wanting to care. But at the same time, that has to be a two-way street. The person that you're trying to help has to actively want the help.
Yes. Well, and they need to work on helping themselves.
Correct.
Right.
Not just sit there and, thank you for the money.
Yeah.
No,
like Kate said, you give her $500 versus giving a garage $500. Where is that $500 really going to go? Is it going to go to the garage?
Kate, how old is this lady?
I honestly didn't ask. I believe she's in her 20s, 30s, something. Yeah, she's on the younger side of things. Yeah.
Old enough to not really understand the choices that she's making at this point. Case in point, Cyraxx.
Right.
Now, as a former, well, I was an orphan, and I have lived on the streets myself, but I was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, you know what I mean? I was a kid. I was grateful for any fucking help anyone gave me, and I appreciated it. And I wasn't old enough to make life decisions. and that's why I ask. This lady seems to be a little bit older. She can make choices. If she's making the right ones or the wrong ones, I don't know.
See, my family's
It is a
very big on
difficult,
community service.
complex. It's a complex thing. People don't get it. You don't know unless you've experienced it yourself.
Yep.
Like
I say, my family's very
I'm
big
all
on,
behind you, Kate. Whatever the fuck you do, I'm behind you.
my
And if you
family's
need
very
money,
big
I'm happy to
on
chip in.
community service. Like my brother does Special Olympics. He's done that for 20 years. I have another sibling who volunteers with cancer patients. I've been doing since I was a teenager. I've been doing haunted houses every year for community fundraisers for the last 30 odd years. So, it's giving back to your community. It was very, very heavily instilled in our family growing up.
Yeah.
Sounds like you was raised right.
Well, if I wasn't,
they
I would have
are.
gotten smacks for it. I can tell you that. My mother was Italian. My father was German. I lived in central New York in the mid 70s and 80s. Trust me, I was the youngest of 6 kids. You didn't mess around.
Jeff, it's one of those things you can't throw enough money at. But like Kate said, you can't just be. People are going to do for themselves at the end of the day. People are going to want for themselves at the end of the day. You can't just pour money into and hand it out like it's a bottomless pit. The person themselves have got to want to fucking change their life and make a difference to themselves. And like I said, you can't throw enough money at it, but you can't support their drug habits or abuse habits, whatever, substance abuse habits. But yeah, it's so complex. I'm not smart enough to figure it out. I was lucky. I got a break finally in life, and I've done okay since. Others haven't. A lot of mates that I knew have died. It's tough. The bottom line is it's a bigger thing than people realise, and it's fucking sad that all our government. I'm in Australia. You guys are in America. Our governments can spend millions and billions and trillions of dollars on fucking weapons to blow up a fucking country and can't get their own fucking peeps off the street. That's fucked up. We're supposed to be living in the 21st century. We're not cavemen anymore. We're fucking supposed to be intelligent. We're the most destructive species on the planet. It's a fucking disgrace. And that's the bottom line.
I agree with you. One of my favorite lyrics, something I try to live by, is a song, where the lyric goes, "We are how we treat each other when the day is done."
Yep.
And that's the way you have to live. You have to live your life. Like you guys were talking when I was on backstage about the woman who has one channel where she's just a miserable, and then the other channel where she's like, look at me, look what I'm doing, helping homeless people and then building shelters. Well, you're doing that channel for not be out of the goodness of your heart. You're doing that because you want to be seen doing that.
Yeah, clicks and views.
Yeah. You want people to think of you that way and not think of you the other way, so you can get away with being the other way. That's not the way to live. The way to live is, to basically do it regardless. My brother, I have to sometimes drag teeth out of him to ask him, what's going on with Special Olympics? When's the next event you guys are doing? Do you guys need any help? Do you need a hand? This coming Tuesday, out of the blue, it's Star Wars Day here in America. It's, May the 4th be with you. I had a friend of mine go, oh, I'm putting together a little thing at the post office because the United States Postal Service is doing stamps. I'm like, great, I'll be there. She goes, well, I wasn't offering or I wasn't asking. I was like, you didn't need to ask. I'll be there. I'll get my stormtrooper costume out. I'll let kids do photo ops with me and, pick up a bunch of Star Wars treats from the local dollar store and pass them out to anybody that shows up with their kid. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to just automatically think of doing these things for other people, period. Your brain is supposed to be at that default setting. People like Cyraxx are not that. Yeah, in fact, I know from listening to you guys talk at the last two events you've had, I have every sense that Cyraxx is listening and watching right now. So let me just say this. As a former military policeman and the brother of a corrections lieutenant and the emergency management planner for the United States Supreme Court, Cyraxx, look him up. Mark Hartz. I can tell you this. They're investigating you. You can sit there and complain and tell them till you're blue in the face. Well, the only reason I sent a dick pic is because I thought it was a troll. That is not going to float anywhere. There isn't a cop that I have dealt with in all of my years of dealing with cops in a family of cops that will sit there and say, oh, you only sent the dick pic because you thought it was an adult? Wow, that's different then. No. That ain't going to happen.
Doesn't work that way.
When and where were you an MP?
Korea, actually. I joined right out of high school in '87. I did 2 years, got stationed in Korea, was an infantryman originally, and then got augmented to military police when I patrolled the truce village of Panmunjom.
Okay.
So I was 11 Bravo, augmented to 95
You're an ex-cop,
Bravo.
aren't you?
Who?
I think you're ex-military, aren't you?
I'm ex-military. My wife was I met her when she was an MP at Fort Drum. She was a dog handler there.
Oh,
And
I was just at the Fort Drum a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
Lavender, you're ex-cop. You're ex-military, and I'm ex-criminal. Wow, what a panel!
I do community theater here in New York, and occasionally our group gets hired as the role player and actors for your training exercises. Like we do it here. One of our local airports is now the Homeland Security training facility. So we get hired to be the actors, and it's like, okay, this is what we want you to do this time. So that's one of the reasons why I still, am in contact with military policemen, with federal officers, with state police officers. I went to, I volunteer and I'm on a board of a historical society with one of the guys here in town who's a state police officer of like 30 odd years. So I can tell you that none of the crap that Cyraxx is spouting is going to work when he's sitting in an interview room. He can sit there and say he thought that it was perfectly okay to send naked photos because he thought, but that it's not about that. It's about intent. If you thought you were getting trolled, then why not just send, I don't know, a picture of a mule and say, jackass, you're trolling me, but I'm on to you. Nobody in their right mind is going to sit there and say, I should send a picture of my penis, because it could be a troll or it could be a 12-year-old girl. We have the state cybercrime task force located right outside my city for the New York State Police. I deal with these guys a lot. You've got, and his whole argument of, well, you lied to me first by saying you were an underage girl, so you broke the law. No, Kate didn't break the law. There are companies that work with state and federal authorities, companies like Perverted Justice, where they used to go into the chat rooms and pretend to be underage people when they're actually law enforcement officers to catch these people. So if, his whole argument of, well, you lied to me first by saying you were underage, that's not going to fly in a courtroom either. Cyraxx, you need to seriously reevaluate your life right now, because you are going down a path that is going to take you into a 6x8 room, and you're not going to like the company.
We don't have anybody to give y'all the link. Kate is obviously busy, and Pat had to step away. So y'all just hang tight. Kate pops in and out every now and then. We'll get her to drop the link and bring whoever wants to come up.
I mean, you guys would agree that everything I've just said to Cyraxx makes sense. Would you not?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sorry, what?
I was just saying, Cyraxx's arguments that I've heard over the last few days make zero sense to
Invalid.
anybody with even a scintilla of law knowledge.
I'm not sure they'd even need that.
His whole, oh, well, I talked to somebody in my family who's a legal advisor. Legal advisor doesn't mean anything. Legal advisor is just a fancy way of saying somebody who told me what they saw on the latest episode of Law and Order.
Perhaps he was referring to his legal guardian.
Yeah, that he may have been referring to that. That's entirely possible. I saw his video where he said, I talked to somebody in my family and they're a legal advisor and they told me to stay off the internet. So, of course, the first friggin' thing you do is go on the internet and broadcast any old thing you want.
Yes, well, if I give my lie on the internet, therefore it must be true.
Yeah. And can I just say this? I don't mean to disparage anybody based on their looks, based on their appearance. I don't want to be that kind of person, but I'm going to be that kind of person for about 30 seconds. Sweet googly moogly Cyraxx, will you get a haircut? Because you look like one of those radioactive wasteland children you see in Mad Max.
Yeah,
Dear
he needs
God.
to just. Oh, damn.
Start with a haircut, work your way up to being a better person. Okay, my rant is over. So what's going on with everybody else today? By the way, happy belated.
Well, okay.
Oops.
Sasha,
Hiya, you raggedy cunts.
G'day, you little shitbag. Where you been?
Where you been hiding?
I've been riding by Cyraxx's house. I'm just waiting to see him out on the lawn so I can drop these titties on his back.
How you been, Dale? I haven't seen you in ages.
I'm good.
That's good. It's good to hear.
I've been around. I've just been quiet.
How are the ponies?
The ponies are wonderful. We have they had a baby.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. I thought one died on you. That was my bad. I honestly thought one passed away now.
No.
So you saved both?
Yeah.
Cool. Good stuff.
Yeah.
And the birds?
The birds are wonderful.
Great.
We got positions.
Nice.
Sash, what do you think on Eric Brandt in 12 years?
I've just been laughing. I was watching it. I was watching the court yesterday, and I think it's absolutely hilarious. You don't get to go around and threaten to kill judges or wish death on judges, and think that it's okay.
Yes, well, I guess it's fuck Eric Brandt Day.
Well, yesterday was what was everybody going around saying yesterday? Oh God, what's the word that Eric says when he does the fuck the cops day? Ole, 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 ole.
Yeah.
It's happy fuck Eric Brandt Day.
Have you been following any of the Cyraxx?
I have been. I've been sitting outside Cyraxx's house for like the last 28 hours.
Scared
pussy won't come out the door. And I'm just like, come out the door. I want to put my titties on your back. I got even bigger titties now. Like,
you love putting your titties on backs, don't you, Sasha?
I do. I think beavers are favorable.
You got those. You got those COVID titties now, don't you?
I do.
Oh, yeah.
Those puppies are large enough now that it's considered assault with a deadly weapon when you slam them on somebody's back.
I have big double H's now.
Damn.
That's big.
So,
like a
Ladies kink shaming.
I'm gonna name you Bexa. Little snorty shit.
Come out the house, Cyraxx. I would love to meet you and say hello. I want Beaver to give an update on how his FBI case is going on me.
Beaver.
I haven't seen Beaver in a while.
You know, I'm the only tranny that ever got reported to the FBI for putting titties on your back, on people's backs, and
what?
Beaver's full of shit. Don't worry about that.
What I'm thinking is a person with any sort of common sense probably wouldn't report that to the FBI.
I got bigger titties than furry potato. Come on, sis.
Yeah. Fucking.
Sasha, we know you love furry.
Beaver's never been able to be accused of being the brightest penny in the pile.
Beaver has a limp.
Harry, is that Harry? Harry's here.
Looks like Harry.
It's my balls.
Harry's here.
Harold.
Harry balls.
G'day, Harry.
How is all the circumcisions today?
I cut a few short.
Oh, nice.
Little nip and tuck.
Yeah, little nip and tuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
did you show them what a strangled penis would look like? Did you show them Cyraxx's?
No, but I did create a new stylus holder.
That's hot.
Yeah. So
from my understanding, Brandt is unable to appeal his sentence. I'm not 100% sure.
He can't appeal it.
He was sentenced within the guidelines, and the guidelines were something up to 18 years. So I don't see how people are saying it's excessive. So I don't.
When you think about it, 4 years apiece for threatening a judge and their families, who are still under threat today.
I think more so.
Yeah, I was going to say even more so, especially after those victim impact statements they gave, which kind of throttled the judge to, make his determination. But that guy didn't give a fuck because he had 4 days left on the bench anyway. So
absolutely.
Well, I mean that judge.
I hear you knocking, but you can't come in.
Yeah, we're having some construction done on our roof.
That was a victim that was in the courtroom giving his impact statement. I think that judge really sealed it. The female judge, she didn't really say that much besides the same thing. And the judicial assistant, I think she helped it out when she started crying due to fear. But I think that one judge, when it was in the courtroom, I think he really sealed it.
Yeah, I think it was what I'm assuming he was black. I'm assuming he was because of all
because he said he was African American.
Yeah, right, but I mean all the racist statements that Brandt made towards the guy. You know what I mean? Like,
I just wanted to point out that I did get cards, but I got them in $10 increments because I did see in the chat that there was the suggestion they could be sold at a kiosk. I know that's always a risk, but $10 increments. You're gonna get a fee on each one of those cards. You're not gonna walk away with a lot of cash and whatever, Yeah,
You're doing
whatever.
a good thing, darling.
All right, back on the fucking road.
The thing I wonder about the judge giving 4 years for being threatened, for the 4 counts of being threatened, something like that, whatever it was. What would that judge give for a pedo molesting a kid?
That's usually a lot more than that.
Well,
It should be.
You get less time for raping kids these days.
That's what I'm talking about, Sasha. If you want to give a man 12 years to run in his mouth, that's one thing. But if you're gonna be light on a person that molests a fucking kid, that's fucked up, in my opinion.
But not only that, Jimmy, two different times that we know of, but 3 different times of trying to entice a minor online and show them, fucking dick pics. For Christ's sake.
But you know what I'm saying?
I've been driving since 5 o'clock, just to be clear here. Since 5 o'clock this afternoon, I have been driving. I am almost to my destination. All right.
But yeah,
that's my whole point, Sasha. If a judge is going to hand out 12 years for someone running their mouth, by fuck, they want to be a lot tougher than someone that's actually molested a fucking kid, enticed a kid, exposed themselves to a kid, just because they're butthurt about a threat. That's fucking. Don't. You know what I mean? I just can't cop. If you're going to let a chomo get away with their shit, but you get butthurt over someone running their mouth, that will not sit with me, and it never will.
Well, they have sentencing guidelines. It's not just on a whim that a judge that they give sentences out. There's certain guidelines based on prior criminal history, prior acts, and everything. So that's why a lot of time, and also again, everyone keeps forgetting this. He pled guilty himself. This was a plea deal. So.
And then in his plea, it was stated he could get up to 18 years for.
Correct. It was 1 to 6 years per count, or the possibility of house arrest, or
like a halfway house, right?
Right. A halfway house was an option. House arrest was an option, or straight probation was an option. So again, this was worked out with his lawyers. It wasn't I had a conversation with someone in Discord yesterday. Was it harsh? I don't know. It was 4 years per count. That's 4 years per victim. So, I don't know. I gave a very extreme analogy yesterday. Charles Manson used only words also. And, Charles Manson did kill somebody. However, he was never convicted of killing his drug dealer. He was convicted of 7 murders in Beverly Hills on what he told his followers. And for Eric to be disingenuous and say he has no followers, I actually looked at his YouTube channel today. He has 22,000 subscribers. That's just on YouTube. So you've got 22,000 potential psychos out there.
Yeah, 1 count of sexual molestation in the state of Texas can get you up to 22 or 20 years.
A lot of times also with, sadly with pedophiles, they'll plead it down to avoid the victim having to go through a trial.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right, Jimmy. I agree. I mean, pedos are by far the most disgusting people in the world. But I mean, it's, I don't have an easy answer for that one. So
to me, they are, Harry. That's all.
I agree. I totally agree.
It's my own opinion. Adults doing shit to adults is one thing, but when a kid is fucking innocent, a kid can't defend themselves in most cases. Running your mouth, okay, it's not right. I'll never condone it. But yeah, if you can't be lenient on someone that actually fucks up a child's life, but get butthurt because someone threatened your life and throw the book at them. It's just me. It's just my stupid logic.
Well, I mean, the max.
Well, it's all trauma, though, Jimmy. It is all trauma. So to be fair on that one, when you're put in a position where you feel like your life might be in danger, it's a different kind of trauma, but it's still trauma. There's still victims there.
All right,
I get that.
Yeah, and I don't know what state Cyraxx is in or what the max penalty is in his state, but
he's in Ohio.
Yeah.
How many of your states still have the death penalty?
Mine does.
Mine does not.
For just sexual assault and child molestation, the death penalty is not on the table.
No, Ron, I was never diddled as a child. I was beaten. I was put in a cupboard. I was bashed. I had teeth knocked out. I was whipped with barbed wire, but I was never molested. Are you happy, cunt?
Oh, that was really personal.
Does that make you feel better? You want to know my life?
Hold on, I'm
Ask.
just gonna.
Don't be a fuckwit.
Who asked
I'm just checking
that?
my GPS real quick. Sorry, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Who asked you that?
Ron for freedom. I was never actually molested as a kid, but I was beaten, bashed, locked in cupboards, assaulted many, many times. You happy now, cunt? You want to know any more? You want to see the scars on my back? You want to see the scars on my back from the barbed wire, you piece of shit? Or are you happy with my words?
I like what Bronco fan says here. You know, the sentence was perfect. It sends a loud message. Free speech has its limitations, and it does. I mean, you can't, you know, you can play semantics all you want. You know, though they were overt threats. So I found a new channel today. This guy's pretty funny. He did a Glenn Serio video. If you guys are interested in watching that real quick, put a 1 in there. It's kind of funny. Anything with Glenn Serio is kind of funny. So, I mean, if you guys want to watch that real quick, I can pop it up there. So like I said, drop some 1s in there if you want to hear it, see it real quick. Of course, Cobra Kai does. All right, cool. There's 3 1s. So I kind of want to lighten this up a little bit because, I mean, it's kind of been a dark couple days dealing with this Cyraxx bullshit. And, you know, poking fun at Glenn's always fun. So let's see here. Share the screen.
Yeah, it looks like Ohio, for what we know he's done so far, per count, he can look up to 5 years per count.
So this is a guy I found called Radical the Unhallowed Knight, and I'll drop his link in the description because the guy I've watched a couple of his videos today. And he's very good. So
That's hilarious.
Yeah, he's funny as hell.
Wow.
Especially when he bags on somebody for their inability to English well.
Great. Glenn Serio.
Harry.
Making himself part of the story once again.
Yeah, buddy.
Sorry, can you post the link? Morgie wants to jump up on chat, please.
Let me do it after we get done playing this, okay?
All right, buddy, no problem.
Why is he censoring his video? I thought that went against everything they stand for. And with that, I mean the dipshittery they do, because they don't really stand for anything, right? Yeah, you came here, correct? You're putting handcuffs on her? Yes. Okay, so you should have a female officer detain her. No. You're not a female. No, that's not correct. That's incorrect. Did you have a sex change? Are you a female? Don't touch me. Don't touch me. He kind of has to tap your shoulder there, big man. I mean, you're blocking the entire aisle.
I think you can stop videotaping. It's already being recorded.
Where's it being recorded at?
It's one of our CCTV.
Who are you?
I'm with security. So I'm asking you to please stop recording. Please stop recording.
No.
She's asking for you to stop.
You understand that this is a First Amendment protected activity?
It's not under
You can't stop me. This is rather amusing. You still don't understand this, Glenn. This is not a public location. You are inside a private business, meaning you have to abide by their rules. The First Amendment does not apply. Hey, you're gonna be a smelly bastard. Oh, regardless.
Seriously, I understand you're trying to be nice and helpful and be watchful of other people and be careful.
Well, look at that, Glenn. You are not well known here, huh? The officer clearly doesn't know what you are, with emphasis on what. So no, officer, this person you see in front of you is not out to help other people. He's mostly out to, harass police officers and people at accident scenes, getting fraudulent claims up in court. For lack of a better word, he is not a spiffy boy. I can't call him a man. He is a man, baby.
But she's asking for her comfortable to please fill it out. And you understand this is the First Amendment protected activity, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. You can tell me all day long, there's nothing you can do. You're helpless. You're absolutely helpless.
And as usual, Glenn's retarded and is wrong because he's in a Walmart. But that's, he lives in a troll world.
Oh no, and I had high hopes you were not going to do the childish thing. Why did you do the childish thing? Why am I even asking this question? You are, by definition, the childish thing.
Eddie Alvarez is back from his controversy.
Sorry, commercials.
To take on O'Grayun.
Okay.
Buddy.
You back, Kate?
Buddy, you're helpless. You're absolutely helpless. Your hands are tied, buddy. Oh, wait. Is he going to stalk him through the aisles from the other side? Let me enhance your video here, Glenn. I mean, it's what I'm already doing, but hey, let's enhance it even more, huh?
Please don't
Hi, Candle. Okay. So there's some food in here. Hi, I'm Kate. I also put some stuff in shop. Oh, yeah, she's fine. No, hi, you want to tell me? It's fine. She's old. Okay, so there's some trying to retrain her. Yeah, I can see that. She's all right. No, she's fine. Hello, darling.
We're just trying to make sure she doesn't bark too much.
Yeah, you'll draw attention to yourselves.
Yeah.
This is right where we slept last night. To be honest.
Sleeping on benches is not the best option.
Well, we slept on the floor.
Yeah, we put our
blankets
blanket down. Comfort.
And the cops not bothering you?
Not so
After
far.
10:30, they don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
We usually only come here after these doors close around like 8.
Oh, now you being nice?
I smell like dogs.
As long as we come around when these doors close, the manager usually doesn't bother us. And as long as the manager doesn't bother us, the cops don't bother us.
Exactly. Matt, the one that did all the bull crap. Oh, I hope he's not here today because I'm ready to punch him.
Well, I mean,
he's cowardly now because he's scared of me. Because me and him were sitting over there on that side. He came out, saw us, ducked back inside, went out the back instead of the front.
I don't know if I'd want to inspire fear in the manager of the establishment you're sleeping outside of. Have you, I mean...
We plan on going to our campground tonight.
Yeah, I know. I don't have a tent. I'm really sorry. I was not able to get one.
We've got almost all the money to get one.
Yeah, we actually got some money
getting there to get one.
We actually got some money from the phone company that has the RV. They gave us a little bit to help us out while we try to get it out.
Okay. All right.
Right now, if I hit the gas pedal, or not gas pedal, brake pedal, some sort of fluid comes down through my dash. Don't know what it is. I've never seen that fluid before.
Yeah, I mean, in order, for me to be able to get you any help with the camper, I would need to know sort of like, what's going on with it and what the ballpark figure is. Because, obviously we would have to pay the shop directly. That's just one thing that,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm thinking it is.
I'm sorry, I'm not wearing a mask. I'm like,
oh, you're fine. The brake.
Sorry, guys. I wasn't sure if Kate knows she's not muted. I'm not sure if she wants to play this or not. It's kind of why I let it play out a little bit.
I think she does. Just for transparency that she's handing over the vouchers and shit like that, blah, blah, blah.
All right, that's fine. I'll go unmute her then. I didn't, some people in the chat were asking, and I honestly I don't know, so.
I think she is. But no, I don't know.
Okay.
Or two. There's a couple. I got you some sandwiches and a couple things, but most of it's not perishable. Some beverages and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, we've got a cooler in the RV. We're just trying to get to it, but they wouldn't even let us get our generator tonight. Like
they had already closed. They said we can't get anything out until tomorrow, and we also need to have it towed soon because they don't want it in the lot.
They're willing to tow it for us.
We
But-
just need to tell them where to tow it.
Exactly. We need a safe place to work on it. I mean, the abandoned Stop and Shop over in, I'm not sure where that is. It's near my other one.
You know what? Let me call some churches.
Oh, by the way, you were talking about Chance?
Yeah.
I was just looking up some of the things that he sent me. And unfortunately, I have a lot more photos than I'd rather enjoy.
You heard about his nasty penis and started barking. It's okay.
He
Think of it
sent
in
me
a
a
couple
few
year
of
olds
those
me right
pictures. This is me back when I was doing
You have
my
dog food,
art
right?
and stuff.
Yeah, we have some dog
Okay, sorry, I didn't even think about that.
This is when I
You
was
look
working
very
in-
healthy. You look very healthy.
That was when I was doing my art business.
Oh,
I was
wow.
doing good until Chance did his crap. He kept telling people that I've got bed bugs and all this other bull crap, and people stopped buying.
Right.
And it just, sales went plummeted. My PayPal went boofed. I wasn't allowed to use it. I mean, I'm an artist. I do just about anything. And his art is not even real. It's all fake.
No, he steals it. I know that.
I mean, I make some psychedelic marbles and other things. These are magnets.
It's cool.
And just hand painted. This is real art compared to what he's doing. Let's see. And yep, there's one of those pictures, unfortunately, that he sent me.
Oh my god, he sent the same one to me when I was catfishing him. He has like a collection of like just like the same like weird glamour shots that he sends to everyone.
Yeah, that's not even his.
No, that's definitely him.
It's photoshopped.
No way, really?
It's photoshopped.
Why would you Photoshop on such a tiny body?
Because he's.
Oh, he photoshopped in abs. Look at that. Sorry, could I like?
Yeah.
He did. He photoshopped abs on himself. What a fucking loser.
I told you, they're all photoshopped. I could tell it is.
Hi, sweetie.
Are you trying to hump her, you rude little stink?
It's okay.
Oh, you're the first person that has gotten her to love
Kate.
upon like that.
Kate might have found a
wow.
replacement for
That's not
Dookie.
like dogs. All the time.
And he's got some rather interesting photos on here that I'm just so disgraced about. Oh, there's another dark secret I don't know if y'all know about.
What?
He fucks his dog.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he confessed
Hey.
that to me one time. I'm like, yeah, nope, I'm done. I blocked him shortly
Can I
after
say that in public?
Hmm?
Can I say that in public?
Sure. I mean,
So wait, like he told you that he fucks his dog. You didn't see him do it?
no, he just
Okay, at
told me
least
he
you-
does it. And I'm
Holy
like,
shit.
ugh. I'm like, BCL, no thank you.
So he's a pedophile and he's into dogs.
Yeah. And this is why I know he was kind of creepy about my kids, because he kept asking for photos of them. That's my littlest one.
Oh, how cute.
That was my daughter when she was only a few months old.
She's adorable. Look at those eyes.
Wait till you see her now. Blonde hair, blue eyes, pale white as a ghost with two front canines that look like fangs.
Oh, so
She's a little biter.
you gave birth to a vampire?
More or less a little wolf biter. We call her Wolfang sometimes, and that's my oldest.
Oh, he's a cutie too.
He just turned 6. And I'm really proud of my kids, but I'm scared that he's gonna hurt them. That's why I kind of hid from him for a while.
I can understand that. You're not in a good position right now, though.
And there's also my art
Huh?
that he's also tried to claim as his.
He steals your art too?
Mhm.
What a scumbag.
And I do hand painting. I don't just do it from seeing. This was one of the pieces that inspired me. I won't say this is mine because it's not,
Right.
but it's something I've used as a template or a
Yeah, guys, sorry about that. I'm not sure if that's Kate's cricket phone or her, what's going on. So, anyway, so there's definitely a lot of discussion in chat about the whole Eric Brandt thing. It amazes me how people simply don't understand, you know. I think the judge made a great point about social contracts also, which was hugely violated by Eric throughout this whole process as well. So, I mean, you know, it's just part of our life. We all have to live together, and that's what these First Amendment auditors sometimes forget is, when do our rights come into play compared to theirs as well? Anybody? Bueller?
Well, Harry, it was funny. A lot of people saying Brandt will be back bigger than ever, rah, rah, rah. But will he? Won't, if he does get parole, etc., or when he gets released, won't he have conditions that he's not allowed on YouTube and not allowed on social media,
That
etc.,
all depends
etc.?
on this release board.
One can only hope.
He got 2 years probation also, and that'll be kind of worked out kind of like Josh's MORGU. When he gets released. So it's hard to say. Here's our Morgie. Hey, Morgie.
G'day, guys.
Hi, Morgie, darling.
Hello,
Hey,
sweetie.
Morgie.
Hi, Morgie.
Hi, guys. I just on the Oak Brand thing, I think we're overlooking a number of things, and you've got to remember that Eric has links to far right extremists like Joshua Martinez, Eamon Bundy, all that lot. So, there is a credible threat in there, and that's probably got a lot to do with why the sentence was as harsh as it was. He has links to people who can carry out credible threats and have been proved to carry out credible threats. And I think that's probably where a lot of it's come in for. You've also got this bullshit about the words thing as well. It wasn't words, it was credible threats. Just because you throw in I wish, I hope, I pray, doesn't make it any less a credible threat. Now, the other thing is that you have to remember also that he pled down, and we don't know what he pled down on.
Right.
So that's the other thing. And this is something that a lot of people are forgetting. They are not they're not taking. They're just looking at what's basically in front of them and not what's behind the whole thing. So I just want to throw my 2 cents worth in on that.
No, I appreciate it. You're 100% right. And one of the things that a lot of people overlook also, and the district attorney did a great job pointing out, he was on probation for this exact same thing that he was convicted of. So he'd already violated his probation. And he could still possibly face charges for violating that probation as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's still got a fair few cases going as well.
Well, a lot of these Colorado cases were all rolled into one. That's why if you listen to it, several counties were rolled into that. And a lot of those charges were dismissed to be pled guilty to the higher counts of those 3 felonies. So I can't remember all the counties that were rolled into it. But like I said, from what the district attorney was saying, like I said, he was out on probation when he got these latest charges. Now that he was found guilty of these latest charges, I would think, and again, I don't know the ins and outs 100%, but he, like I said, could face what's ever remaining of his probation that he had not finished yet.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there's all of that. I mean, that was one of the reasons he went as quiet as he did, but he wasn't very quiet for long. He was still, he did change things, but he was still advocating for people to flood police stations and stuff like that. And when you do that, and when you do that, I mean, he could have. He's lucky he's got state charges and not, federal felony charges, because the phone calls alone could be used as, and he could have been picked up easily on domestic terrorism charges for the intimidation alone on judges.
Absolutely. And this Stephen Mauser guy made a comment that judges only have extra rights. Well, they kind of do. You have to protect our judicial system. If you don't protect judges, and judges are easy to intimidate, then what do we have?
Yeah, well, there you go. That's the kind of misinformation that's been put out there, and idiots like this pick it up because they don't know the law, they don't know how it works, and they're going off what a bunch of morons tell them. They don't do any research themselves. They don't bother to go and have a look and ask somebody about who's actually a legal professional. They don't bother to go to the local college or something like that, to the law, and ask the questions. They just take verbatim what is told to them by this bunch of idiots because it
And
it fits their narrative.
even if it were true, don't fucking threaten a fucking judge then.
No, exactly. I mean, the one thing that I thought was interesting that I never did see addressed was that tantrum he threw, and I thought it was with that same judge when he cussed that judge out in court that one day. And he was on a video conference. I'm curious whatever happened with that because he went nuts on that judge that one time.
Oh, he got a contempt, but of course it's just added and added and added. That's all. I think they just got to the point where they just, they can add to it, but what use is it?
Right.
Well, by the contempt being in there, now instead of time served for the time he was in waiting trial, it was time. It went against his contempt charge, not.
No, the only thing he got yesterday when he was sentenced was 12 years with 85 days of good time. There was nothing else added on to there. Now, what do they do behind the scenes? I don't know. But I said nothing that the judge announced and the district attorney announced was added at that point. So I said he got 12 years minus 85 days he had served waiting bond. So. All right, Brandt, you'll be your 15 minutes of fame on the court cam. He'll probably do a good 7-8 years. I haven't looked up what Colorado's good time game time is. I know in some states it is up to 50% sometimes. Hopefully he does, get the mental help he needs. He's trying to say he made all these mental strides. Well, it's only been 4 months. I'm not sure how much mental strides you can make in 4 months and say you're a healed man since he made these threats. So. I don't know. Like I said, I can't say whether or not it was excessive. I don't know. I mean, like I said, you have 4 victims, 4 years per victim.
Well,
I don't know. If some psycho threatened my life, I would like to think they're out of my life for a good long term.
It wasn't 3. It wasn't the 3 victims. It was three victims and their families.
Right. Correct. Actually, 4 victims.
Well, I mean, they rolled up one of the victims
was a clerk, right? So I don't know. So what else you guys want to talk about tonight?
I mean, those people he threatened are going to be in fear for greater than 12 years. So I have no pity on them.
Well, that's. I'm sorry, Marty. Go ahead.
Hang on, sorry. I was just going to say you've got to remember those are the ones that came forward and pressed charges. That's not including the ones that Eric got away with. You've got to remember there's all the ones at Rockwall and all the other little places. That little what about Madison when he went ape shit over blind justice and all that lot. I mean, there's all those people floating around that didn't bring charges. These are just the people that brought charges up. This is not the the slew of other people in his wake. You've got to remember those kind of things as well. It's not just those 4 people. There's a slew of people in the wake, and it's over borders. This is why I'm saying he's very lucky that he didn't get federal charges.
Yeah, I mean, with the call flooding, I wish they would charge him, charge somebody, and once they convict him, go after everybody who called in to and participated in the call flood as a conspirator.
Or a disruption of 911 minimum. Even though not call 911, most 911 centers take the incoming calls from the lobbies as well. This again. This is Steve talking. If Eric Brandt said the same thing about you, he would never have been prosecuted. It was only because judges. Well, again, if you don't protect our judicial system and you intimidate judges, how are we going to have law and order? I mean, if a judge is afraid to rule because of some psycho, I don't know. I think judges do get extra protection. Same as the president. Same as you can't make death threats against an officer that are violent.
Do you know how incredibly stupid that comment is, Mesa? I mean, incredibly stupid.
Well,
do you know? I mean, these people deal with basically the dregs of society, the lunatics that you don't want to touch. These are the people that actually keep the rest of us safe. Are they always right? No. Do they do it right? No. But it's all we've got, and that's how it goes. The bottom line is this: they are special. They do have they're highly educated. They are usually, but unfortunately, thanks to the last 4 years, it's probably not as true as it used to be. They're highly educated and they're highly specialist. Okay, and they deal with the dregs of society and the people. They basically deal with the people that we don't want to know about. And those people go from everything from serial killers to the pedophiles to, everything, absolutely everything. Things you wouldn't even dream about. These people have to deal with. Now, I think that and they get death threats day after day after day. In fact, it's probably in the job description. Can you deal with death threats every day? Imagine going to work and having that done to you every day. Great night, shut the fuck up. You have no idea what you're talking about, because I do actually know what I'm talking about. Okay? There's stuff, cops and judges see stuff that you have got no fucking idea about. Absolutely no idea about. And as Jimmy was saying earlier with the pedophile stuff, I know he's upset about it. But the units that handle that stuff are very small. And one of their biggest problems is people burn out because of what they are seeing all the time. Cops burn out because of what they see. They're the ones that show up at the horrible car crashes and deal with that. They're the ones that show up at the people that have shot themselves, the suicides, the mass shootings. They're the ones that deal with that. They're the ones that deal with all this kind of stuff. Okay, you're not sitting there. You're not looking at the pictures. You're not the one that has to walk through a crime scene. You're sitting on the outside looking in. You have no fucking idea what these people's lives are like, and they are in there and they are doing it. And like I said, not all of them are good about it. Not all of them, but they are there and they are doing it to keep you safe. You gutless little creep. Okay, Brandt, over. Thank you.
That's true, Morgie. There's a copper I talked to that was in the pedophile division, and he said they get 6 weeks every year minimum psychiatric assistance for the shit they see day in, day out. The sick, fucking perverted photos of kids being molested, raped in sexual positions, blah, 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 blah. And they have to get 6 weeks minimum every year of psychotherapy to help them get through.
Buff
they
Bunny
do
chick.
burn out.
Hang on, just let me. Sorry, Jimmy. Buff Bunny chick. Nobody signs up for what you see in the job. Absolutely nobody signs up for. They don't keep you safe. You really think that? You have no idea. Absolutely no idea. You are ignorant fuckwits. That's what you are. You've got no fucking idea what you were talking about.
So that's what cracks me about these guys. And I said, they say they don't protect us. Fine. If you want a society of anarchy, see what happens then. When cops stop enforcing laws, stop protecting you, stop convicting, fine. Do they solve all crimes? Absolutely not. They do a better job. It's better to have them than not have them. Let's put it that way. So, if you want a world of anarchy, keep going the direction we're going. I mean, crime rates in New York, in the most major cities, New York City, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Baltimore, crime rates have already gone through the roof. Cops are backing off. That's what you guys want? That's cool. That's what's going to happen. So, and people think they're out there fighting for our rights. You're not fighting for our rights. You're fighting for clicks and views.
Fighting for their pocketbook.
Well, that too. And that's why they keep putting, you can't tell me News Now, Rapist, and Patrick are not using fucking Omaha as bait. They want to see him get shot. And, they want that instant video with 5 million views. They would have sold their soul for the Chauvin George Floyd video. They would have done anything they could for a video like that. And that's why they're putting people like Omaha out there.
Stephen Mazur, All right. Let me put it this to the only reason you have rights is if you have a certain behavior. If you end up what do you call it? If that behavior becomes intolerant for other society, you are dealing with society. We are not dealing just with you. The rights are for society, not just you as an individual. Okay? Now, if those are set up for society to behave in a certain way. If you break that behavior, then you are going to have those rights taken away from you. There is no absolute right except maybe to breathe. That is about it. Okay? All rights are given to you by men, and men can change it. And they do on a regular fucking basis. Now, if you're going to go out and do this kind of fucking stupidity, you're going to see it change, and you're seeing it change. Okay? Because you have been so fucking stupid over the last 4 years by pulling this bullshit. I've got rights. Your rights are given to you. They are not absolute. They are basically a privilege. And if you break that privilege, they will be taken away and you will be put in the naughty corner. And the naughty corner in this case is basically an 8 by 10. Okay? So let's just get over it now, all right? Society without respect for rights is abuse. Yeah, but you're not respecting the rights. That's the whole thing, you fucking idiot.
That's what cracks me up, dude. They're such hypocrites, and they talk out both sides of their mouth. They're saying respect the rights, but the only thing they look at is their rights, not how it impacts. Do you have a right to film in public? Yes. But if someone is annoyed by it or doesn't want to be filmed, isn't that up to them also to say, hey, listen, whatever you're doing, that's fine. Just leave me out of it. They don't look at it that way. They then, look at what Furry does. Then she goes after them even harder. I think it's a slippery slope. I think, you're starting to see the effects of what auditors are doing to our judicial system. And I think you're going to see more and more actions like what happened with Eric Brandt. If I was an auditor in Colorado right now, I'd be concerned of what I'm looking at prison-wise. Because I think this sets an interesting precedent of what can happen to them.
And can I just say quickly,
sure.
My opinion, Morgie's opinion, etc., may not be that of Kate's in the Marcel report. We are not Marcel report. We are our own people. I just want to make that very clear.
Well, that's what goes for all of us on the panel. Pat asked me to step up tonight because I have access to the StreamYard. We are all entitled to our own opinions, and we can have a legitimate debate about it, discussions about it. Same like the people on the News New England side don't have to like each other, and that's fine. I'll have a debate with you guys anytime. Like I said, I have my views, you have your views. That's what makes us great. That's what's part of America. That's what part of the world is. So anyway, we're just over a little 2 hours now, almost 2.5 hours. So let's go ahead and wrap this up unless someone wants to jump up and say something real quick and not porn bomb us. Anyone? Bueller? So
Bueller. No, Harry, I just hope Cyraxx gets caught, and the sooner the better.
No, I agree. I think he's definitely shown a propensity for what he's capable of. I didn't see the whole stream this afternoon. I came in this evening. I came in kind of late. This guy had some stuff happen when he was a minor that he did to a blind kid. It's I don't know. It's kind of a little disheartening. So he definitely has issues. I think Kate's done a good job of exposing him. And it's amazing how this kid makes excuses. He's not a kid, I should say. He's over 30 years old. I think she's done a good job of exposing what this kid's capable of.
He's a predator, and he belongs in a cage. It's that simple.
Yep.
He is very, very, very dangerous. And there you go. If you it's not going to be easy to take him down, even though there's ample. I wish you'd stop knocking your balls, Harry. Honestly. But it's not going to be easy to take him down. If they're going to do it, they're going to have to do it. And even then, I think he'll end up in a psychiatric institution for life. I don't think I don't think he'll ever see proper jail time, but at least he'll be off the street.
Well, if he needs the help, get him the help. I'm all for it. I just, to my knowledge, and I'm not an expert on this shit. Predators like that, child predators, pedos, they don't reform, or very few reform. As long as they're off the streets, as long as they're not harassing kids, I'm happy. I don't care where they are.
Well, the creepiest, one of the creepiest places you can ever walk into a jail is into the pedo area. It's really.
I'm not Cyraxx at all. Hello. I was here from Sunday too, so. Wow.
No problem. I just want to make sure. I mean, unfortunately, we never know who's real, who's not real, and
Right. I totally understand where you guys are going to. I want to I like to huge shout out for Jane Doe, who's in this position. My thoughts and prayers goes to her and what she's been through. And I want to thank Kate helping Jane Doe out. And on top of that, I am a huge, I saw you guys discussion about Star Wars. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And I think I did a chat a little bit. Like, I might do an impression of Sand People of Tatooine impression. let me try this.
All right, that sounds like Glenn Serio trying to get his shoes on.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, Cyraxx is a dumbass. I was talking to what's music something I forgot his name. Music. Let me find it with Discord here. Oh yeah, Music B Marty. That's what his name is.
Yeah, Marty.
Yeah. He started having me get onto this panel, and there are certain laws. I'm from Wisconsin. I'll put it that way. That's my home state, and there's a lot of rules and laws versus state laws and federal laws. What Cyraxx is doing is breaking the federal law. I don't know if you know the history of radio, television, the American, I forgot the name now, it's a huge federal who runs certain podcasts that you see on, for example, if they want to produce a Law and Order TV show series, that they will make sure they go through all the stuff, all the paperwork, and make sure they're not following the rules.
Well, and that was the one thing the judge pointed out yesterday about the social contract, which I thought was really interesting for a judge to say that we do have a social contract with each other. And that's where I think a lot of people disconnect with auditors because they're selfish and they think about themselves and nobody else.
Right. I've seen a lot of YouTube channels of ATA audit the audit. He talks about how police reactions to these auditors every single time. I don't think you guys have heard called sovereign citizen. Heard of sovereign citizen?
I've never heard of them, but there's so many of them out there anymore.
There's a whole bunch of them. People who don't believe in driver's license, don't believe the rules of the road. And it's ridiculous how, why these people are not in jail for being a sovereign citizen. Because, oh, sorry, I'm not driving, I'm traveling. You're driving a vehicle that's uninsured, no driver's license, no vehicle registration. That's a state felony. But if you get in a car accident, if you don't have no insurance, none of those.
Well, and sadly, most of these people drive like a 1974 Civic like Pat Sweetman does, like Pat S does. So, I
Right.
mean, they don't care about their Civic being totaled. For people who actually have a nice vehicle, it upsets us. So,
Right.
it's one of those things. No, I appreciate you coming up, Dave. I really do appreciate you chiming in. Anyway, I don't know. Like I said, I kind of came in late, and I don't know why we did the Tuesday night show tonight. I literally just got off work and kind of came into this. So I'm sure we'll talk about this more either Thursday night or Sunday night. If you guys want to come back Sunday night and talk some more about this, by all means, let's definitely come by and see us.
I don't mind joining back in to you guys' panel again. Talk about I'm from Wisconsin, and Wisconsin has the. I'm gonna go off this straight at that. I witnessed last year. I was riding my bike, and we have so much drunk drivers in the state of Wisconsin. And sad but true. No, you're wrong, bunny chick. You're wrong. You gotta have a driver's license to order to drive a vehicle. A vehicle is like a moving weapon.
But bunny chick, the right to travel is the right to be able to travel across borders. Okay, it has nothing to do, has absolutely fuck all to do with driving on the roads. The driving on the roads actually comes under the 10th Amendment of the Constitution, where states can put the laws. You're correct. There is no in the Constitution. There is federally there is no driver's license requirements, but under the state there is driver's license requirements. The driver's license requirements also your driver's license, your registration, and your insurance covers not only you but every other road user. It also pays for the upkeep of your roads. That is why you have it. It's to make sure that people who are using those roads are competent to use those roads. It is under the 10th because the state is allowed to make those rules. Okay?
And I'm not an expert, but I also believe the 14th Amendment gives a state the right to make their laws for their state.
14th, sorry, my fault. 14th. I thought there's something in the 10th as well.
Yeah. So, anyway, guys, let's go ahead and wrap this up for the night, and we'll put some stuff together, some more videos for Thursday night, and hopefully be a little more lighthearted. And I'm sure Kate's getting a great interview, and we'll have some more information on Cyraxx coming soon, I'm sure. So, thanks, everyone.
I would love to rip him a new one. I will love to rip him a new one.
What was that?
Thanks for having us. Thank you for having me, Harry, and love to chat.
Thank you for letting me in.
Thank you.
Yeah, guys, don't forget to join our Discord. We're fastly approaching 14,000. Don't forget 20,000. Kate wears pasties on panels. That's going to be an epic night. So, all right, guys, you'll have a good night.
You too. Good night.
All right, good night, man.